Hi, everybody. We've got a boss in the house today. You know, everybody talks about being a boss, bossing up, but we've got a real award-winning boss in the house today. Scott Ballard, the CEO and owner of Ballard Brands, joins us to share insights from his decades of success from PJ's Coffee and Wow American Eats. His franchise locations have a presence in over 30 states, as well as Vietnam and Kuwait, with over 35 Wow American Eats and over 180, let me say it again, 180 franchise locations of PJ's Coffee of New Orleans. We're going to talk about how Ballard Brands leverages social media to truly lead today. And for all of our students and our local entrepreneurs, I want today to be a testament to the power of doing it where you are, because Ballard Brands manages their business. Mr. Scott Ballard, who's here today, from their headquarters in Mandeville, Louisiana, just north of New Orleans. And I paused to share that because there's a brain drain often after you leave Tulane and Loyola and you go to New York or Chicago or LA, but you can do it right here. So I'm so proud and happy to have with us Mr. Scott Ballard. Scott, how are you today?
Awesome. I appreciate you having me. It's great to be in the city that I grew up in and went to Tulane right next door, and just happy to be here. Thank you.
We have you here anyway. I was going to say, we know you went across the gate, but we're happy to have you here. So thank you.
Happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So, before we get into our topic, you have a really respected background, and I would like for you to share with us where the idea to create Ballard Brands came from and what keeps you motivated to keep achieving. You've been so successful, and you continue to achieve.
Thank you. Well, look, my brothers and I, Stephen and Paul, we're partners. We run the company together. We have founded the company together. And at the end of the day, it's about people. It's about culture. It's about making sure that we have concepts that speak to them. And I think we have that. Obviously, PJ's is over 50 years. Started on Maple Street in New Orleans with Phyllis Jordan, and we bought it 20 plus years ago. We were the largest franchisee and bought the concept. So, and Wow American Eats was founded in 2002. My brother Paul had an idea with Chef George Rhodes, who was the executive chef of Outback Steakhouse and Al Copeland and others. And Stephen and I joined and said, okay, let's do this and add it to our portfolio, which was PJ's at the same time. And so for us, it was building brands that people relate to, that have a culture to it, that met kind of our personalities, and that's what it's done.
And that's why we have you here today, because PJ's, your marketing, your social media, it really is remarkable and does have a culture to it. Was it important for you to stay in New Orleans? Was it something about being home and being in Louisiana that made you want to keep?
Yeah, it was. I tell you, it was very important. We were born and raised here. We went to school here. We raised our family here now. I left, me and my brother Steve left for a few years, went to Atlanta, went to Charlotte.
Okay.
We opened Smoothie Kings, we opened PJ's, and did some other things. My brother Steve went to University of Georgia to school to get his master's after he played football at Tulane. And we knew when we had children, we wanted to be back.
Okay.
And when we started to have children, we started to create ideas and thoughts, and we all came back to operate and own in our state, in our community, the PJ's Coffee and Wow American Eats.
We are so grateful for you doing that and coming on back. So as a CEO now, we know you're focused on the overall growth and the long-term vision of Ballard Brands. How do you view the role of social media, not just as a marketing tool, but as a core business asset?
Well, you've got sales, you got recruiting, you got the brand demand. Those are the things that we want to use social media for. It's not just about what people consider to be the regular marketing. Market a product, they come buy it, you sell more of it. No, it's recruiting people. It's making sure that we understand what the people are telling us the demand is, and we pivot, whether it's a scone or whether it's a muffin or whether it's a sandwich or whether it's a latte or whether it's a chicken sandwich or whether it's a salad. That's what we use the social media platform for all of those. And of course, in immediate time to listen to the customers and give them what they want. And, social media does that now. It's instant gratification. When you and I grew up, we we told people we meet them at 1 o'clock at the park. We better be there at 1 because they can't call us on the cell.
That's right. That's right.
Now it's an instant gratification.
Absolutely. You know, and that's why, again, we were going through all these brands and we were like, we want PJs, because it was obvious that you guys are really creating a two-way relationship with your customers through social media. And then you're paying attention to the culture, your Mardi Gras campaigns. You really are making sure you're leveraging it as a two-way platform. So how do you, Scott, you and your team, how do you ensure that your various brand social strategies are directly tied to tangible business outcomes like revenue, recruitment, as you just mentioned, or market expansion, research and development beyond vanity metrics? Because, you know, and when we teach it, and a lot of kids are just likes and follows, but we know it has to be tied to something so much more as a CEO.
It does. I mean, obviously, the consistency is important. It's got to be tied to consistency and outcomes of what you're measuring. And so when you're measuring these tools in marketing, everything, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it, right? And
Can you say that again for everybody?
If you can't measure it, you can't if you can't measure it, you can't manage it.
Period.
And so, you know, social media, again, it could be a double-edged sword, but if you use it properly, it creates that hot brand consistency. It creates what the market is looking for. They're telling you if you're either listening or you're not. But if you're listening, that's what should and does drive us at Ballard Brands, our marketing strategy. Brooks Ballard and my nephew, who's in the business, and Reed Nolte, who's our VP of marketing, you know, they collaborate every day with operations and marketing and finance and every part of it to make sure the things you just said are being measured, and that dictates what kind of marketing platform we use.
I want to talk about that just for a minute. So you've got a team, right? You're the CEO, but you've got a team that's actually in there actively managing and listening. And that's important for me to share, because I think a lot of times entrepreneurs or brands, they just want to set it and forget it. They want to use a Hootsuite or a Sprout Social, and they just want to post and they want to say, come by, here's a sale, but they don't actually have a team that's measuring and listening.
Yeah. You know, look, my brothers, Paul, Stephen, and I manage this together, and we kind of do it in silos. You know, I'm finance, business development. You know, we have the brand side, which is the PJ's Coffee and the Wow American Eats, which a lot of your students, you know, have over at Tulane and others. But we also have the roasting side, where for 50 years we've been on the Marinee, where we get it off the ship. Let's say it's in Papua New Guinea or Kenya or Brazil or Colombia. We bring it to our roaster. We roast it, we bag it, and we put it and we sell it, right? So we're vertically integrated. We're in manufacturing, two different parts of the business. We control the freshness of our product in the Marinee and have been doing it for 50 years. We are the local New Orleans coffee, period. And so it takes a team to do that. Felton Jones, who is our, you may have met Felton.
I've not met,
but he's been with us 32 years. He's graduated from St. Aug, started working for us in high school. He played in the band at St. Aug, and he's been with us 32 years. He's one of the few, if not the only, African-American master roaster in the country. And he's one of the most respected master roasters for coffee in the country. And he's been with us for over 32 years. Those are the relationships and the expertise that make our product unique and better than all, but surely most.
Of course. No, all. I'm clear. So Ballard Brands encompasses and first of all, before I even go further, I just want to say thank you for educating us around the uniqueness and the lengths you guys go to really control the vertical integration of your product, as well as the marketing too. The marketing team is a part that we're talking about, but that part is also important too, because I've always said in marketing that you can do all of that marketing to get someone to come to your door, but if your product doesn't deliver, you don't have a business.
And we tell people they've got some of these concepts, and people who are saying, come roast your own coffee, buy this, whatever, awesome. But if you go to a PJ's Coffee here in New Orleans, let's just talk about New Orleans. Or Louisiana in general. That was roasted and put in that store within 30 days. You can't get faster. It rotates every 7, 10, 12 days.
Okay.
Because, you know, it's right here on North Peters in the Marinee.
Right.
So you are roasting your own. And
Yes, you
so
are.
it's as fresh can be.
Got it.
It takes 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes to ship anywhere.
Right.
So we're small batch. We're still small batch, and we'll always be small batch.
I'm here. Ballard Brands encompasses a diverse portfolio of concepts. For a fast casual dining brand, authenticity and relevance really are crucial. How do you manage the challenge of creating distinct, effective social media campaigns for your different brands while ensuring they all ladder up to the values and the promise you guys offer at Ballard?
The key in anything is communication.
Yep.
And if internal or external communication, that communication is what drives you, your concept, your business plan, your measurable tools that we talked about earlier. Yeah. All of that is no good if you don't communicate. Because if the person who is executing beyond so marketing has to pass it on to operations. Operations has to pass it on to the owners and the franchisees of this concept. If those aren't, then it stops.
Right.
And that's what most people, students and other folks, don't know. If the communication stops here,
right,
then all that work you did up to that point, if it's not pushed on to them, then you might as well not have done the work.
And Scott, okay, let's go deeper there. Even the reverse of that is true. So for students and other entrepreneurs who you have an idea to offer a holiday sale and you want to offer 50% off of, small batch, this particular product, light roast.
Columbia Supremo. Roast 35, maple blend.
There you go. 50% off, and you're going to do a lot of marketing around it. So let's say Reed, his team creates that, but then he doesn't communicate that to production. And there's no product. That creates an issue on the inverse.
Which unfortunately has happened to us and everyone.
Everybody.
Yeah. Example is the pumpkin latte. If you don't have the pumpkin in time for Halloween,
right,
you might as well not have the pumpkin.
Correct.
And we have in the past not had the pumpkin. Okay. Therefore, we didn't have the pumpkin latte. And there are a lot of upset people. So that's just an example. But you're absolutely right. That is it. So we have our teammates. We have executable and on-brand marketing and social media and beyond. And look, on-brand is important. Decide what your brand is.
Yeah.
And make sure that you let the consumer know what that is, or you're wasting your time.
Can I just punctuate that point you just made? Decide what your brand is. That is something, ladies and gentlemen, students, everybody, that is a really critical point that Scott just made. Yeah. Because I think a lot of times there's confusion to the customer because you're not sure of what your brand is. You're not sure what your brand represents, what the values are. So starting with what your brand is and what it offers is really important. Do you mind sharing with our viewers and listeners as well, what is your brand? For PJ's, let's talk about PJ's. What is that brand?
So PJ's Coffee is a family business. Me and 2 brothers and our wives and our family, we own it. Born and raised in New Orleans, from here. Father was a pastor, mother was a retailer our whole life.
Nice.
Our father was the chaplain at Baptist Hospital for 40-something years. And so we came from good, humble background. My mother was a retailer. Woke up every day and had a music store and a Hallmark store in Covington, Louisiana. And before that, they did other things, but most of our lives. So we understood how to be at the register. We were entrepreneurs. We were merchants.
Got it.
We still are merchants.
Got it.
I hope that the merchant world stays. I mean, I love Amazon. Trust me, my wife is as guilty as anyone. I've never in my life been on Amazon. I may be the only one, but my wife makes up for me tenfold. And that guy knows where my house is. And but supporting local, supporting your merchants, your local merchants, is so very important. So PJ's Coffee is a small batch roast coffee and tea. Mm-hmm. We have matcha, we have hot teas, we have cold tea, cold brew teas. We were the founder of cold brew. Phyllis Jordan was the first one to do cold brew. People now look at cold brew now and no, she was the first one to get the toddy, and do it on Maple Street 50 years ago. In
the world or in our state?
First in the world, marketed. I'm sure maybe someone, but as it relates to toddies and cold brew, she was the first to market that. Wow. So that's why when you see a cold brew at PJ's, it says the original cold brew. You don't see that anywhere else because we own the original.
Got you.
You are either the original or you're not.
Correct.
So we're known for our cold brew. Cold brew is awesome because there's no acidity. It takes all the acid out of the coffee. And if Google coffee and know all the benefits of it. It has more antioxidants than anything, including blueberries.
Okay.
But if you want less acidity, do the original cold brew, which is what we created. And we got to do a better job making sure people understand that right here in your own backyard.
So that's why your Mardi Gras marketing campaigns are so authentic.
They are.
Because you guys are clear you are a New Orleans small batch coffee brand.
Yep.
Family oriented.
Same roaster for 32 years.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you so much.
Roastmaster.
Roastmaster.
We've had the same roaster for 50 years. Roastmaster for 32.
Awesome. So remarkable campaigns simply don't just happen in a vacuum. Can you walk us through the initial spark of a successful campaign idea?
Yeah, look, we've had a lot of campaigns that look good on paper.
Yep.
And didn't pan out, right? Because they felt more like something we wanted as opposed to what the customer cared about. And the key to that is making sure the customer cares about what you're promoting.
All right.
And how do you know what the customer cares about? It goes back to what we talked about earlier.
Yep.
It's listening.
Yep.
It's making sure that you have targeted social media, not only campaigns, but in every campaign or every social media post or every social media journey, you also have either direct or subliminal questions that are going to come back to you from the customer. Because customers and people who, especially coffee, right, love, it's an everyday thing for them.
Yeah.
It's a 3-day-a-week thing from them. Yeah. It's an affordable luxury like lipstick. Those are things that, look, if I'm broke, I'm going to put lipstick on and go out and look good.
Correct.
If I'm broke, I'm going to go buy a cup of coffee and complain about the day.
Correct.
Those are two things that are affordable luxuries, I call them. So anyway, we best campaigns are those that were driven by the customers. For instance, we did a decade ago. We asked our customers in the market to do to tell us what the next flavored coffee should be.
Okay.
And that's about 10 years ago. Southern Wedding Cake was what thousands and thousands of feedback. They came up with Southern Wedding Cake. It's an almond flavored. It's still to this day our best LTO, limited time offer, that we bring back every year. And if we don't bring it back, or if we're late bringing it back, the customers tell you. So that's, for instance, we listened to the customer. The customer picked what it was. We brought it to the market, and it's wildly successful. And we have that in cold brew and hot and latte and, in all forms of coffee.
And so when does it come back, just so I know?
It's here now.
It's here now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll make sure I stop by. So that internal process of creating a social media campaign, you start with a customer-centric, the insights from them. And then do you have a social media manager just for our students? How does it work? How does it look for you internally? I know we do. Brooks Ballard, my nephew, kind of he has folks like Nicole and others, but Brooks is pretty much the social media the person who runs our social media. Okay.
The best plans are the well-funded plans. When you decide what it is you want and you decide what your message is going to be, fund it. The worst thing in the world, or change it.
Yeah.
But don't do anything that doesn't have an effect. Don't do anything that you don't fund properly. Change it to where you can fund it properly.
Yep.
Or change, when you do something halfway.
Yep.
The consumer knows.
Yep.
So do the outcomes.
That's it.
So
be all in.
Be all in.
Wow. I feel like we're getting so much more. I almost feel like I want to change the title of our topic to something about deciding. You're so all about being intentional. Your brand is very intentional.
It's a great word. Intentional. I love the word. And no matter what you do in life, but as it relates to this, you should be intentional in it. And if you make a mistake, you recognize it. You build off of it, and the next time's even better, because we all make mistakes. Our greatest successes are our mistakes.
I hope your students are listening. So social media is an ever-changing landscape of algorithms and emerging platforms. When you look at new channels like TikTok or new products, new ad formats, how do you balance the need for data-driven, measurable results with the imperative to take creative risk?
We rely on data to tell us where we play.
Okay.
Data tells us if we're listening, where to play.
Okay.
Creativity determines how we win.
Yep.
Once we're there. So,
So talk about the creativity. Like,
it's calculated risk.
Okay.
Right? It's calculated risk. But the more you listen, the more data you apply to whatever it is you're doing, the more the more likelihood that the success is there. It's like I said, it's a calculated risk to me, and trying for some new controlled way to get your message out and drive in, whether it's the new latte, whether it's catering, whether it's the new king cake, whether it's we have now NOLA. The NOLA experience now. So every time you come in, if you look on the menu board, there's a NOLA experience. So everything, it doesn't matter if you're in Maryland, if you're in California. I mean, as you said, we're in 30 plus states.
Yep.
Doesn't matter where you are. Every menu now has the NOLA experience. We don't run from being from New Orleans. We run to it, not away from it. There's not a lot of cities that can relate to food, culture, and taste like us. It's New Orleans. It's San Francisco, it's New York, and Chicago. There's a couple others.
Right.
But when you are in that city and you're authentic in the hospitality food world, food and beverage world, then you should own it, which is why we're PJ's Coffee of New Orleans.
That's it.
Everywhere we're PJ's Coffee of New Orleans.
No matter where you are.
No matter where we are.
Very well.
And New Orleans is one of those cities that people get excited when you're from New Orleans.
Yes.
When it relates to food, beverage, hospitality, culture.
Right.
Some, if you love Kansas, love the people of Kansas. My daughter Skylar's boyfriend's from Kansas, but I'm not sure you say, sandwich shop from Kansas.
Correct. No, correct. You have to kind of own it and lean into it.
That's right.
All right. And when you create these campaigns, I think for those of us who have seen your remarkable social media and advertising campaigns around Mardi Gras with PJs, what's the process for that? Does it start with Brooke? Does it start with Reed? You guys sit down together? Does it start at the executive level? Is it a brainstorm?
Yeah,
what does that look like?
It starts with the marketing folks.
Okay.
Obviously Reed and Nicole and Brooks and
Okay.
Brandon and that whole team. And then it comes into operations, and it comes into the executive team and the president of our brands and the sales of our brands. Everybody, because look, every division of our company has a data point that is important to the consumer we're trying to talk to. Every single one of them. And whether it's Wow American Eats or PJ's or Ballard Logistics, our company that does disaster recovery and stuff. All of those data points come into marketing, and that's how you create your campaign.
Got it. And your strategy, what you're doing with your social
strategy
media.
and how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And look,
yeah.
the best way to know what doesn't work is to not do it again, right? We're going to do things that don't reach the data points we want. Don't forget it.
That's it.
Write it down.
That's it.
Remember, because 12 months from now, you can't remember a lot of things. You're not going to remember that didn't work unless you write it down. You make it an intentional, as you said earlier, point of reference to your strategy.
But you got to do it.
You got to do it.
You got to do it.
The big thing, look, half the job in this world, if not greater, I say greater, but let's just say half, is to show up. 80% of people have problem with that, which is why the success rate of things, of people's strategies, of entrepreneurship, is far less. It's why we have layers of management.
Right.
It's why we have to manage things.
Right.
Because unfortunately, people, for whatever reason in life, are not leaning forward to their best. And
well, that's why I made so many accolades earlier at the top of this conversation, and I meant them sincerely. As someone who's an entrepreneur as well, it is not easy being an entrepreneur. And so for those who have had the level of success that you and your brothers have had, I just wanted to make sure that we pause to honor that properly.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So now...
Yeah, look, I always laugh. With the last ones to be paid, everybody's heard that. It's true. It took us 25 years to have overnight success.
Wow. Okay. I hope our students are listening to that.
Sure.
So we talked about that, like the winning, right? So we know that many of the deepest lessons come from campaigns that did not meet expectations. Without naming names, or perhaps with naming names, do you want to share a time or a campaign that was perhaps well-resourced, but it just didn't work out? And what was the key learning that Ballard Brands took from that, I don't want to say failure, but that campaign that did not work?
Yeah. So going back to, again, we did a lot of campaigns that looked good on paper, right? Mm-hmm. And it didn't work. Specifically, there's been, it's why we went back to the we had a few flavors,
okay,
like tiramisu and some others that just didn't pan out. Thought it would do good. Everybody knows tiramisu, and then when you did it didn't. It's not New Orleans.
Yeah.
And so if we would have gone to the market like we did with the Southern Wedding Cake,
yes,
then we wouldn't have made that mistake.
Okay.
Because the market wouldn't have told us.
They would not have said. They would not have. I'm telling you.
They wouldn't have. And so that's an example.
Yep.
You probably like tiramisu. I like tiramisu, but I like it if you put it in front of me. I'm not ordering it.
Correct.
I like a lot of things if you put it in front of me, but that doesn't.
Correct.
And so that's a campaign that we learned quickly. Social media is your friend if you make it your friend.
Yes.
It's your enemy if you allow it to become your enemy. If you're not organized, if you're not on top of it, if you don't manage it, if you have rogue behavior in it.
Right.
There's a lot of things where it can be your enemy, as we all see every day.
Correct.
It ruins people, it ruins businesses.
Correct.
But it also enhances businesses. If you are organized and you have someone going to bed every night and waking up every morning that concentrate on just that, because it is that important, then you are far less likely to fail in it.
Good.
And we do that.
Good.
Brooks wakes up every day. Nicole wakes up every day.
That's their
Brandon
job.
wakes up every day. Reed wakes up every day. But we have one or two people that every day is just social media. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And we empower our managers, regional and store managers, to customize, Uptown New Orleans on magazine, mm-hmm. where we have two PJs on magazine, could be very different than Monroe, Louisiana.
Right.
Both Louisiana, both from a great state, but different cultures, different needs, different thought processes.
Different people.
And so those managers wake up and take what corporate provides to them, enhances it to what's in their market.
Got it.
That's important, and we do that.
That's smart. I'm glad that you do that.
Yeah.
So looking ahead, 3 to 5 years, how do you see the fundamental relationship between a fast casual brand and its customer evolving on digital platforms? And specifically, I'm talking about AI. There's a lot going on, the hyper-personalization, advanced social commerce, shoppable post. Do you have any plans with these emerging trends for PJs or Wow American Eats?
I think that the biggest shift will be towards more authentic, two-way relationships, whether it's your vendor, your customer, your the market. Mm-hmm. Being authentic mm-hmm. is much more relevant today. Mm-hmm. One, because if you're not, again, this instant, immediate social media thing will call that out.
Right.
Eventually.
Right.
So I think the good part of that is it does make you more authentic. It makes you more honest. As a general rule. Mm-hmm.
That's smart.
And biggest opportunity with AI is the personalization, the real human stories. That's where we're going to go. We're going to go towards telling the story of Paul, Stephen, and I. We're going to go towards telling the story of our families working in the business, of 30 plus years of Felton Jones and Brian, who has been there 34 years, who mm-hmm. is his. Who runs the operational side of roasting with Felton. We're going to tell the story of Felton and Brian, how they lived after Katrina in the roasting facility for months. That's where they slept. That's where they lived. That's where they, because we still had to run a business. Uh-huh. We're going to tell the story about the successes and the failures of life. And in our world, life is and being entrepreneurs and being the trials and tribulations of being from New Orleans and our change. we're going to tell those stories. We're going to make it more authentic because it is. Yeah. We have two of the most authentic brands in the city and the state. And we believe that most people know, a lot of people know this, but we have not done the best job in personalizing it. And we can, because it is personal.
Yes.
We are from here. There are great stories in Louisiana. There are great stories in New Orleans. Well, we're one of them. And we're going to hopefully tell that story so people like you and others, when they're thinking about where they get their coffee or where they get their food, that they want to go, that we're in that rotation of support. Because it surely is my rotation of support. Right. I support locals. I am the son of a merchant. Paul and Steve are the sons of merchants.
Yes.
My sisters are daughters of merchants. And that's how those go away if we don't tell the authentic, true story, especially in the state of Louisiana.
I'm so inspired and I'm so aligned with your direction around storytelling and being relevant and authentic. I think that is probably the best antidote to AI. So wishing you guys the very best. I mean, even earlier, you were talking about your father being a chaplain, your mother being, I was like, okay, this is the stuff you really want. And as you know, you may have heard this saying before, people buy from people.
They do.
They don't buy from brands. So we're still buying from PJs, but once they get to know really who's behind the brand, they're going to buy even more. Right. So my final question for you is, what's on the horizon? What's going to drive your growth? What are you guys currently working on?
So obviously we're a franchise business. Paul, Stephen, and I open, 5, 6, 7 new stores ourselves a year, corporately, individually. Okay. But then we also open about 20 to 30 stores a year and have had that for about the last 4 or 5 years. And this year we're going to open, I think, 25. Okay. Hopefully 30. Construction and locations and all that gets in the way. We have plenty of demand to open stores. It's just difficult with construction and costs and but on the horizon for us is on the P&S side, the products and service side, grocery store. We own a brand called New Orleans Roast, and we own PJ's Coffee. Okay. New Orleans Roast is ours as well. Okay, that's in the groceries. So is PJ's. And to grow our CPG business, which is the grocery store, to grow our business in if you have an office that serves coffee, we want it to be our coffee. Okay. If you have a grocery that sells coffee to the consumer for home, we want to sell it to the consumer. Nice. If you have the convention center in New Orleans has our New Orleans Roast and our PJ's Coffee in it. Nice. All of those outlets on the P&S side, which is the products and service side, we're going to continue to grow and go after. We do the business for the United States Marines, for the United States Air Force. These are things people don't realize. A small little Covington, Louisiana, New Orleans-based company. We're gonna continue to grow our products and service side. At the same time, we're gonna continue to grow our PJ's Coffee outlets. We're gonna continue to support our franchisees, which I am a franchisee of. We own it. I saw that. But we also are the franchisees, and we're gonna continue to be in your neighborhood and grow. PJscoffee.com. Go learn about us.
And what about catering? Anything with catering? Are you going to grow there?
Catering is, catering is that side where you can add 10% to your business, what I always say, out the back door. Okay. You come in the front door and order what you order every day. Yes. The back door is when you put it in the truck and you bring it to wherever you're catering to. Okay. Right? A doctor's office, Loyola University's having an event.
That's right.
You're having an event at a house, a Christmas party, and you're having Dragos or Dickie Brennan or whoever brings stuff. Well, you got to have a pastry and coffee side too.
You have to.
And we have phenomenal sandwiches, Cuban sandwiches, ham and cheese sandwiches, and others. So the catering side is something that we're working on, and has been very successful, and I think is going to be a 10+% success rate to our bottom line.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. For everybody who tuned in today, this was a most enlightening conversation with CEO, boss, owner, Scott Ballard. We encourage you to continue really paying attention to social media. Social media is one of those platforms that you can choose to set it and forget it, or you can actually not be afraid of it, lean into it, see what the feedback is, have a listening plan and a team, and really leverage it like a boss, like Scott Ballard. We wish you guys the very best And we hope you guys will also make sure that you make PJ's Coffee and While American Eats a part of your daily rituals. See you soon.